The state spent their first day of spring break here in Austin. For the second time in a matter of days, they urged state lawmakers to use the rainy day fund to offset the cuts to education. Now, the House Appropriations Committee took testimony on a bill today to do just that. The measure would use $4.3 billion of the fund to close the gap in the current budget cycle and free up money for the future one. Tonight, we have team coverage on this school funding crisis, projected as high as $10 billion. Our education reporter Aaron Cargile takes a close look at the impact to teachers. First, we want to go live to political reporter Josh Hinkle, who's at the Capitol. And Josh, we understand a vote is expected tomorrow morning in that committee.
That's right, since we're done with testimony now. But one person expected to show up for testimony today never did. That's Governor Perry, and he's been against using the rainy day fund from the start, although one of his aides said last week he might not be completely opposed to not having it off the table. Now lawmakers and teachers are hoping that that happens soon. Bans, umbrellas, and nearly 4,000 teachers and students. Outside the state capitol, commotion you couldn't ignore.
This is Lily. She is a constituent of mine.
Inside, a 6-year-old little girl from San Antonio you didn't want to miss, delivering apples to the governor's office with her state rep to protect her first grade class and classrooms across the state.
We don't want no cuts.
Her message was the same as the rest.
I want to encourage them to use the rainy day fund.
Release the rainy day fund.
Approve use of the rainy day fund.
The rainy day fund, $9.4 billion this group wants lawmakers to tap. They went office to office for that in-person touch.
I haven't seen her yet.
And some of the lawmakers even came to them.
Once you decide to use it, it's a matter of what do you prioritize, and that's a very delicate and important discussion.
With so many areas of the budget running short on funding, where should any rainy day money go?
Dipping into the rainy day fund alone is not going to be the solution.
Senators have talked about offsetting cuts by using a portion of it. First Democrats and now even some Republicans are coming around.
They want to fully understand the budget before they make that vote. And so I think that's the process that we're in. I think the Appropriations Committee is fully aware of how deep the cuts are right now.
The House Appropriations Committee is seriously considering using part to fill in a $4.3 billion gap from the last budget and free up some money for this one, which could mean a big boost for education, now facing a shortfall as high as $10 billion.
Cutting and making children stuffed into a classroom is unfair.
Fear of job loss or cuts. I have a family.
We're their constituents, and that we're not just teachers.
Now, there will no doubt be several more rallies to come before the end of the session, and the group that put this rally on actually has a service on its website where you can actually sign up. Someone will call you, and then it will be automatically directed back to your lawmaker. And all the flyers today about cuts, of course, have all the contact numbers for the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the speaker, so you can keep calling. For now, we're live at the state capitol. Josh Hinkle, KXAN, Austin News.
All right, thank you, Josh. Close to 4,000 teachers and students gathered outside the Capitol at lunchtime to rally together, as Josh mentioned, against massive education cuts. Continuing our team coverage tonight, Aaron Cargile, who talked to a number of those teachers across the state. Aaron?
Good evening, Shannon. It was the American Federation of Teachers behind today's rally. They are a national teachers union who have members across the state. Now, they typically spend the first part of their spring break at the Capitol every legislative session, but the turnout has never been this good.
The Stephen F. Austin High School Band from Houston decided to spend part of their spring break marching up to the steps at the state capitol, helping teachers and students make some noise to get their message across.
Two words, basic sign.
This group from McAllen chartered buses to the noon rally, and 700 teachers, bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodians from Houston wanted to be seen in bright orange, including William Sam, a maintenance electrician for the Houston School District.
I'm a 43-year-old male with two students in HISD, and where do I stand as a father and a worker for HISD if I don't come up here and lobby and make sure that the government's doing what they're supposed to do?
Cynthia Hernandez, a fifth-grade teacher from South San Antonio, piled her 3 kids in the car.
It's going to impact my children as well, all the decisions that are made here in Austin.
A counselor from San Antonio brought Rick Perry's failing report card after he blamed school districts last week for their budget crisis.
We had to find something good, so we gave him an A+ for the hair.
The crowd spilled off the south steps of the Capitol and stretched down the south lawn. Many were under the shade of their umbrellas as they urged lawmakers to dip into the rainy day fund and keep class sizes small.
And prior to today's rally, more than 6,000 union members in Texas made hundreds of phone calls to lawmakers asking them to keep class sizes at 22 students per teacher. Reporting live, Erin Cargile, KXAN Austin News.